What's good, y'all? I got another one for y'all today. And in this video, I'm going to talk about being gay versus being black and gay. Now, I say gay, but by that, I mean like if you a man who's attracted to the same sex. So I'm including like bi, pan, all the other sexualities in there. Gay just saves time. Um, but I'm going to start off with talking about the black community, right? And being a nigga. Now, for those of y'all who didn't grow up in the hood or you're not black, y'all might not understand what I'm about to talk about. But basically, what I'm gonna say is that being a nigga is very limiting as far as like how you get to express yourself, right? The hood puts you in a social bubble where all of your values are revolve around securing the bag and getting pussy, right? It romanticizes the struggle, banging, like banging, trapping, all that kind of stuff. You feel me? And it's pretty obvious. Like if you listen to trap music, you listen to trap music, you listen to hood music, if you from the hood and you got to a certain age, you know this, right? Like it's in all the music, it's embedded in our culture. You feel me? But I would say that it might not be something you realize until you get outside the hood and you make friends outside of your ethnic group. Like you make white friends, Hispanic friends, and you hear um, the way that the kind of conversations they have, the way that they talk to each other, right, and all that kind of stuff, and you think like, what's going on over here? Like y'all doing something different, because that's like exactly what happened to me. Even though when I was in it, it wasn't like, even though I grew up in the hood, I wasn't like I wasn't put in that social bubble because my mother was very protective and she sheltered me from a lot of things. Even though my pop side of the family, um, my pop side of the family is more hardcore, right? But I didn't spend a lot of time with them because my mother didn't want me to. But growing up now, I'm able to make my own decisions, see people who I want. So, I've gotten what's the word? I've gotten exposure to like all sides. You feel me? But that's so let me get into these stories. So I had what was it? I had a few experiences with this job that I worked at that kind of opened my eyes to exactly what I'm talking about. The way that homosexuality or maybe even just sexuality in general is like where the way we're allowed to express our sexuality or whatever as black men versus if you come from a different background, right? So I mentioned this before when I worked at this summer camp up in Big Bear for 3 consecutive years. So 3 consecutive summers. It was I think I started 2016. I think my first year up there was 2016. So 2016, 2017, and 2018, I spent my most of my summer up in the mountains working, and I was basically one of 2 or 3 black dudes that was up there each time, right? So I was surrounded by white people, some Hispanic, mostly white people, mostly white people. That's who I work with, right? Um, but being up there, just in general, white people were a lot more not hardcore. Just that's the way I'm gonna put that. Yeah, not hard. Like, I'm not trying to like walk around eggshells around the whole banging shit. Like my pop side of the family, they used to bang. They OGs. Like my cousins on that side, they don't do that shit. Like they truck drivers and that kind of stuff. But my pops, my uncles, they was bangers back before niggas used to just pop off and just like them they threw hands when it was a problem. You feel me? But that's besides the point. So up there, I'm getting to this. This is really like my first experience, being around white people, seeing how they live, and that wasn't the point of me going up there. Nigga was just trying to get some cash. But yeah, so I worked with them, and my first year up there, like everybody's super friendly. Um, I mean, y'all, if y'all know how white people are in general, like they're the non-racist ones, right? They really friendly around black people because reasons. But anyway, I was one of the few black people up there. So my first time up there, I made a lot of friends. Pretty much, honestly, everybody wanted to be my friend because you're the one black guy in a group of white people. Everybody wants to be your friend. That's just how it is most of the time. And yeah, so made a lot of friends, had a lot of homies. It was only a few females that worked up there because this was a summer camp where like it was just mostly boys. Um, but yeah, so made a few friends up there. Now my first year up there, I had a homie named Kurt. Now Kurt is um, good looking white dude. He like probably like 6 foot. Like he got a good build because he a swimmer and shit. And that was my boy. So probably let's see, we spent like a little less than 3 months up there. Um, so probably maybe a month and a half in. Everybody knows each other by this point. We've talked, we've gotten to know each other, that kind of thing. And I was just coming up from um, whatever the fuck I was doing. It was end of the day, nighttime, right? Everybody was up in the cabins because we lived up there. So I was walking back to my cabin, and I shared a cabin with bro, but the cabins are separate. So it's 2 rooms. Each room holds 4 people because each room got 2 bunk beds in them. Um, but yeah, bro was in one room. I was in the other room with different people. And I was coming up, but bro was smoking on the porch, and I was just coming back from whatever the hell I was doing, and I passed by bro, and I think I might have said goodnight or something like that, and he was like, "I love you, bro." And when I heard that, I when I heard that, I paused and I was like, "What you say?" That's exactly what I said. Like, because hitting my ear, I was like, "You love me? What?" So, so I was like, "What you say?" And the way I said it was probably I didn't mean it to come off hostile. I was just surprised. You feel me? So I didn't say it like any way kind of aggressive, but I was like, I turned around and I was like, "What you say?" And he was like, uh, "I love you." And he took another hit of his pen, and I was like, and I walked over and I gave bro a hug, and I was like, "I love you too, bro." Now that's just an instance of I'm gonna get to there's more stories, but that right there was an instance of like I've only I've only ever had two um I've only ever had two of the homies ever tell me, no, actually no, three. I've only ever had three homies tell me to my face that they love me, or in a text message or something like that. Now, I don't know, funny shit. Just like actually say like I love you, and that's not a common thing that you hear in the black community. Like niggas ain't telling each other that they love each other all the time. Like it's just not something that happens a lot, right? So I feel like that was probably where some of my surprise came from. Also, even though we knew each other and we got along, we was cool. It was, if I was gonna tell somebody I love you, I would probably, give it. It would probably be a little bit more time. I wouldn't say that for like a month or some shit. But anyway, um, bro told me he loved me, and I was like, oh shit, like I love you too, bro. And it felt genuine, right? Um, so with Kurt, we had a few conversations, right? And there was one conversation because, bro, he had some troubles at home, with being understood and that kind of thing. Um, and I'll say, even though I don't remember the exact conversations we had, I probably got a little bit of I'll say a bisexual vibe from bro. Because when we was up there, like he's one of the dudes I would flirt with, like just like I've mentioned this in a previous video, but up there, nobody was really, everybody was real friendly. You feel me? And I mean physically and personality wise, because another factor of being up there, there's no internet, which means there's no porn, and you're living with the same people, eating with the same people, sleeping with the same people for 3 months. You're isolated up there for 3 months straight. Like on the weekends, you get to go down and do whatever, but you always come right back up. So being in that space, hormones it's flying a little bit. I ain't saying we had no orgies or nothing like that, but that was the kind of energy, you feel me? Everybody was real touchy feely, like, grabbing the booty, all that shit. All that shit. And that was just what it was. Nobody questioned it, nobody said nothing. And by like when I say that, I mean guys with guys, girls with girls. Because there's a few times, with Kurt, it was another night, right? I was coming from the cabin, and he was hugged up on one of the females that worked up there, Bridget, and they was just hugging. I could tell bro was probably going through something because, like I said, he had some pain at home. I'm gonna need some water in a second, but yeah. So they was giving each other a hug, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, bro had some booty. So he was facing me, and I just tapped him on his ass. And as I was walking away, he tapped me back and looked at me. I was like, I wasn't expecting him to tap me back, and also, it ain't nigga. That's not something I'm super comfortable with. But I can't be mad at bro. Like I touch his booty, he gets to touch mine. Anyway, yeah. So that was Kurt. That was the first year I was up there, right? I'm gonna get some water before I get into this second year. I'll be right back. All right. So getting into my second year up there. So each year the staff changed a little bit. We had like a lot of people would usually come back, but we always lost like 1, 2, 5 people that did something else, right? But a lot of us will come back because we sometimes you come back just because you missed the people you was living with, right? Because while you was up there, that was your family. Yeah, that was your family. Like that's what it felt like. But anyway, getting into year 2. The second year, it was a couple different things. Or actually, damn, we gotta go back to year 1 because I forgot about something. So, don't worry, we gonna roll back to year 2 in a sec. But the first year, also, like how I said, on the weekends we would go down, like whoever had a car, we would drive down and do whatever we wanted for the weekend, right? So it was one weekend. I don't remember how far into the summer it was. I would say like the mid, maybe the end. Um, but sorry, it was someone on the window. Um, but yeah, so it was this one weekend um, where I went down with a group of friends. It was me, Greta, Presley, and Brian. Right? Greta and Presley, two blonde white girls. Okay. Well, Presley was kind of cute, but Greta, Presley, and Brian. Brian is picture picture a white picture a military white dude, with clean cut hair, good build, about my height. That's Brian, right? Um, so it was one weekend we all went down because Greta, she lived like I want to say like an hour away, um, and she invited us all to her house. We was gonna go down like stay there for a night or two, and then watch a movie or something. So we all went down. We get to her mom's house. Her mom, everybody's like, "Hi, how are you? What you doing? This, and this, and that." Um, and I would say it was probably our first night sleeping there, right? For a minute, we was all in the living room just watching some weird show that Greta likes to watch. It was kind of funny. I don't know, white people funny. Um, but yeah, so we was watching the show. I don't remember what it was called. But night gets in, probably like 11 something. The girls get tired, and Presley and Greta go to her room, right? And me and Brian, I don't know, was I high? No, was I? Did I think I was smoking? They didn't smoke at the time. No, they didn't smoke. Greta ended up smoking with me later, but they didn't smoke. So I can't remember if I was high or not. But either way, um, Greta and Presley went to their room, and me and Brian was just chilling in the room. Now, at some point during the night, I don't remember what happened exactly, but basically what happened is I woke up. Was I on top? When I woke up, me and Brian were laid up, um, and it's one because it was a long time ago, and two because I cannot for the life of me remember how that happened. One of us must have tossed and turned, or both of us. But but anyway, I was the first one to wake up, and when I woke up, Brian was like we was on top of each other. I don't remember if we was on our side laid up, but either way, when I woke up, we was on top of each other. I was the first one to wake up, and even though Brian was, I would say, half asleep, when I woke up, he moved a little, so I could tell he at least felt what was going on, probably. But yeah, it was just it wasn't even nothing weird. Like we didn't talk about it or anything afterwards. It was just something that happened. Like I woke up and when we was on top of each other. So yeah, interesting experiences. I don't really know what to tell y'all with that one. It's just something that happened. But Brian was a homie. He was cool. He was actually looking back at it now. I would say I also got bisexual vibes from him just because he was the quiet in the corner kind of guy, and that wasn't the only time that happened. Like on the way up on the car drive, we fell asleep, and this time I do remember I was laying on my head was rested on his shoulder, but bro was awake. You feel me? So yeah, that happened. That was two experiences I had the first year I was up there. Right now, getting into the second year. Like I said, the second year was a little bit different people. So Brian and Kurt wasn't up there, um, but I had two new homies, right? Um, Wyatt and Holden. Now, uh, Holden was like a camp. So they would call us counselors, but he was like a supervisor to the counselors. You feel me? So that's what Holden was. And then Wyatt was a swimmer. He was a lifeguard at the pool. Um, so Wyatt, it wasn't nothing major. Bro was just always super friendly, right? And this was the year where like all the potheads came up. So everybody that I hung out with up there smoked. Like this was around the time I was smoking heavy. Like we was smoking every day. Nah, not every day. We was smoking like definitely every weekend. But whenever we had free time when we wasn't with the kids, niggas would be faded, right? Um, so one of our it was another night. Shit always happens at night because during the day we was working with the kids. Um, so there's another night. We was off. Everybody was chilling on the porch. And like I said, even though this is a somewhat different group of people, the vibe up there was always the same. Everybody super friendly. Everybody super frisky. You feel me? So, yeah, it was night. We was all off. It was a group of us. It wasn't just like me and Wyatt. It was like me, Wyatt, Adam, Greta, a few other people because it was a lot of us, right? So it had to be at least 6, 7 people on the porch. We was all chilling. Homie, Wyatt was in his hammock. Don't remember what the fuck we was talking about, but at some point we was all laughing about something, and Wyatt was like, "Caleb, give me a kiss." And like I said, because of the vibe up there, I didn't question it or anything like that. And I don't remember what I said. I didn't kiss, bro. But I know that if I did, nobody would have batted an eye. It probably would have been some like, ooh, like that type of shit. But other than that, nobody would have really said anything. It wouldn't have been a big deal. You feel me? So yeah, that was the only real, questionable experience that I had with Wyatt. Now with my boy Holden was like my best friend while I was up there that year. So we had a lot in common. I could always talk to bro. We was on like the same level mentally. You feel me? And Holden is a theater boy. He like another like about 6 foot, blind, blue eyes, good looking dude. But yeah. So Holden was like my best friend while I was up there, and there was one time I could tell bro had just had a bad day or a bad experience or whatever the hell happened. Because he was over here, bro was mean mugging. Like, the energy coming off of bro was like, oh, stay the fuck away from this man. But this is my boy, so I'm about to be like, what's up? What's good? And, we was in the mess hall at night. Most of I'm going to say, the mess hall is open to everybody at night. So, like, the kids have their own, like, camp outs up on the mountain, and we have our cabins like up in the hills. It's a little higher, right? But the mess hall is open to everybody at night. So it was me and Holden, or it was me, and I had passed by Holden. I felt bro energy, saw what was up, and he wasn't trying to talk to me. Bro was angry about something, and I was like, I don't remember what I did exactly, But at some point we got physical because I was like, all right, bro needs to just chill out. He needs to get some aggression off. So we started wrestling a little bit, and it got to the point where, all right, let me be honest. Bro was a little bigger than me, right? And I wasn't really trying to. Well, we wasn't really trying to hurt each other, right? But it got to the point where bro, basically, he didn't pin me like to the ground, but it got to a point where bro had both my hands up and yeah, had both my hands up and had me up against the wall. And we made eye contact. Like we made eye contact for a good, I'll say 20 seconds. Um, and I was just looking at bro, and I was like, and we didn't say anything because after the 20 seconds was up, bro let go of my hands. Um, but again, it wasn't an experience where it was like, oh shit, did that just happen? Did you feel that too? It was more like, when he let go, like that was the end of it. And he walked away, but he looked back at me, right? Um, and I didn't think nothing of it. I was just like, oh shit, okay. Um, well, I was also like, oh shit, because I didn't realize bro had hands like that. Speaking of, never mind. That's besides the point. Um, what? My bad. I was thinking. I was just thinking of something else. It has nothing to do with this story. Or anything like that. But yeah. So that was a deal with Holden, right? That was a questionable experience, but that was my boy. Like I love that nigga, right? So um yeah, that was my second year up there. I'm trying to remember if anything happened the third year I was up there. No. I wasn't super close to anyone like that. The third time I went up there. But yeah, my time up there just, gave me some perspective on the hood, on sexuality, and the way how it's stifled in the hood. You feel me? Right? Like I would say that a lot of black men don't even know who they are or all that they can be because they too busy trying to be like every other nigga, right? Like if y'all see it all over IG, like every nigga is a carbon copy of the next nigga. They all either, they on IG, flexing their bands that they ain't even got half the time, and it's all about banging, trapping, right? These are our values. These are the niggas that are put on the pedestal in the hood, right? These are niggas that's out here getting the most pussy, or at least they look like they is, right? And getting the most money, shit. But that's not like I said, that's a very limited mindset to put yourself in. And it's not like, you know, a lot of our youth have a choice, right? You're born into this. You're born into, you know, they tell you this is what's good, this is what's right. If you feel differently, oh well, keep it inside, right? Um, but I will say that Well, I mean, it's not even really a tangent, really. In the mind of a DL black man, being coming out or being outed is the end of the world in in a DL black man's mind. That's how severe, how I'm trying to say that's how bad that fear is, that social fear that I've mentioned before. But you know, it's also accurate because coming out or being outed, it is the end of the world. It's the end of the world that you've lived in your whole life up to that point, right? Because once people know, for some people, right, their entire perception of you is going to change, and you're going to have to, well, I would say that you're going to have to pick yourself up and accept yourself in order to live with yourself and be proud of who you are, because that's who you're meant to be. But I want to say that I hope I never make it seem like coming out or being outed is an easy thing. Um, because it's not. Like, I'm here making this video for y'all, and at this point, the only members of my family that know are my mother and my two cousins. Yeah, yeah. My mother and my two cousins. Outside of that, it's just, friends and that type of stuff. Right? Um, but again, um, like I've said before, I always encourage y'all to tell at least one person. Just one person who you feel the most comfortable with. Um, Other than that, I think that's all I got for this video. Right? Um, like, comment, subscribe, and also, if y'all want to drop the like, tag some YouTubers who y'all would want to see me collab with, or anything like that on a topic, um, and I'll message them and see what's up. Pretty much. Yeah. Catch y'all on the next one.